Hi, my name is Karin. I am 33 years old and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm on day 3 of my dry fast and the first day of the retreat. A little bit about me, how I discovered the retreat and dry fasting is that 2 years ago, in May of 2022, from one day to the next, I completely lost my health. One day I felt that I was a normal, thriving human to 2 sweet, precious little boys, and then the next day I was vomiting and losing consciousness and so dizzy that I would just pass out spontaneously, and that led to a lot of scary testing and trying to discover the root cause of what was going on with me. Like I said, it was just one day to the next, and that led to about 10 months of some really intense testing and doctors and specialists of all kind. And early on in my illness and my own research and intuition and inspiration, whatever you want to call it, I felt early on this pull towards Lyme disease. It just felt like that is the only thing that is making sense of these mysterious symptoms that appeared overnight. And so it took about a good solid 10 months until I got my final diagnosis of late stage neurological Lyme disease. And that I was very strengthened and felt more confident that through my own process too, feeling like that really was what it was. And lots of people around me who obviously were questioning and doubting and fearful of making sense of all the extreme symptoms going on during that time. And I would just keep acquiring new ones. Each day it was wake up, what's gonna be on the agenda today? So it was quite a scary time. But with that final diagnosis and a lot of research, I was guided to a clinic in Washington, D.C. at that point that we were told and research was the best in the world. And they practice pulse therapy antibiotics, and I was nervous because that goes against anything that I have practiced or believed. I definitely lean more towards a holistic lifestyle and natural. I feel so grateful that's the way I was raised, and I feel that it kept me as healthy as I've been up until this point in my life, because in hindsight, looking back on my life, there's some markers of the disease inside of me and some symptoms that kind of went unnoticed. And I've always lived a life of extreme activity and athletics. I played, sports through college and have had such a full life. And kind of to backtrack, I have a family, a husband. We've been married 10 years this year, and 2 little boys who are 2 and 5. And I feel so grateful, and they're a big reason why I'm here. It was really hard to leave them, but I am so hopeful and believe so much in this practice, and I'm just very excited to see what results it brings for my life. So I went to DC. That was last January. So January of 2023, we started with that clinic, and I'm so grateful because when I spoke with Doctor Filonov and his team and explained to them how my body rejected everything immediately, all the antibiotics, just complete rejection, allergic reactions, and just one after another after another. And they told me, your body's so smart. And it felt so good because I knew that. At the time it was frustrating because I had people who had recommended me to that form of treatment for my disease, that it was the only thing that would work. And it clearly wasn't working for me. And it was discouraging, and I gave it my best shot and tried to humble myself and try something that didn't seem like made sense for me. But I'm grateful for that experience because at the perfect timing, I learned about dry fasting. it's interesting, my family held a spiritual fast for me in this past summer, in trying to just give me support and faith to figure out what to do next, because I knew what I was doing wasn't working. And I decided to do a sincere fast with them, even though for so long I had thought I couldn't because of my health and it would do more harm for me. But I participated with them in that fast, and the next day I felt really good. It was interesting. My husband's like, "You seem like you're having a really good day." And I thought maybe it was just their faith that was helping me feel great. But then that very same week, she was just a sister of a friend of mine who had shared Michelle Slater's book with me. And it was days after that fast for my family, and I was just perfectly prepared to receive this information. And I felt so grateful for how gentle the timing was in my life, because I was so ready for it. And I just devoured Michelle's book and just cried the whole time, because it felt like someone had written my own words in my own life. And it was so beautiful and so empowering, and felt so validating that I was right where I was supposed to be, and there was hope. And I just felt empowered, because I don't have to rely on a doctor or a protocol or medications for the rest of my life, 10 steps behind each symptom that comes up. That I was empowered to have within my own body the potential to heal, and it just spoke to my spirit, and I knew exactly, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is exactly where I want to go. And I'm so fortunate, because I got to watch the friend who shared that book with me. I got to watch her journey. She came to the retreat, and she's been practicing the fasting and has had so much courage and strength. And I've just watched her grow and bloom and heal, and it's been such an empowering experience, and gave me all the motivation to put in the work. It is very much a lifestyle. You can't go back, and I don't want to go back. Fasting is hard, but being a sick mom to 2 little boys is really hard too, and I choose this hard. And even in our lecture this morning, I'm so happy to be here, because there's been so much work and so much buildup, and it almost feels like this retreat is the reward. And in that lecture, we talked about what is 9, 10, 11 days, however long our fast is here. What is that in comparison to the rest of my life? And it's so worth all the sacrifice and effort to get here. I lived so much for the testimonials that have come before me. That's why I'm so motivated to share my story, and whatever optimism and hope I can extend to anyone else out there, possibly in my shoes, or who can relate to me, because this is the real deal, and I'm so excited, and it's so worth all the sacrifice. I was nervous to travel. I'm from Utah, the United States, and I was nervous about that very long journey, while not feeling good, while fasting, and saying goodbye to my family that I've never been apart from, and all the emotions that accompany that. But it was great. Everything went according to plan, and I'm not gonna lie, it was actually nice to have the distraction of, this is what I'm doing, this is the plan, this is my next step, while fasting. And it actually, compared to my last fast, where I've been home taking care of little children and trying to manage life and also fasting, this has been actually I wouldn't say easier, but a different experience that has kind of lifted my spirits in different ways. And just to share, it's not that scary, the travel to get here, and it's worth every effort to get here. And I'm so looking forward to the next couple weeks. I've already had my first therapy, and again, it feels like such a reward, because I've been doing those therapies on myself and trying to outsource and do all the things, but to just be able to be here and feel taken care of by people who know and understand exactly what you're going through is such a blessing, and I'm so excited. Today is day 2 of the retreat and day 4 of my dry fast, and I'm feeling pretty good. Last night, due to some what I believe is kidney pain in my lower back and down the sides of my legs, kind of permeates all through my hips, it prevented me from getting much to no sleep at all. But that's okay. I tried to channel the resting. I was still resting, and like so many have said before, that I have learned to channel gratitude for that pain, because I know it is, my body's working so hard with me. We're a team and we're working hard to get better. A little bit more about my story. I kind of previously explained, but when I was 10 years old, I was bit by a tick, and I know not many have that ability to track. And I didn't have any signs. We got it removed. It was in my bag and just in Utah. And I lived the rest of my life unknowing of any symptoms or manifestations of Lyme. And in hindsight, so like I explained, at 31 years old, I had the huge onset of symptoms from one day to the next. It was so shocking, and I'm actually very grateful for how extreme that onset was in my story, because it really drove me to get a fast diagnosis and kind of breeze through what isn't going to work and land me here with dry fasting. And more of kind of my symptoms and stories to help anyone who can relate. I used to get migraines growing up, and I would consider myself sensitive in many different ways, but just sensitive. I worked really hard to be healthy and strong, always active, but I was just always sensitive. I would catch the colds, or I would be sick, and it would take me longer to get healthier than my peers around me. So I just thought, I'm sensitive. I couldn't eat any form of fast food or treats without getting very sick. So that kept me eating healthy and trying harder, and that was throughout my life. And then when I served an LDS mission, I would get horrible migraines and very sick, and just manifestations of some anxiety, maybe depression, feelings that were unfamiliar to me. And when I then was married, I kept having reoccurring miscarriages, which were really hard. I've had 5, and I have 2 little boys, but that was extremely hard emotionally and physically, and it was just unexplained. I would get pregnant very easily, and then far into the pregnancy I would lose it, and there were no answers. And visibly I was healthy. On all my charts I was healthy, and so that was very frustrating. So sitting here now, having such a hard onset of the late stage neurological Lyme disease, that's kind of what I feel like I umbrella term it, but there's all the co-infections, all sorts of autoimmune diseases that have flared, and it's just a systemic thing of inflammation and lots of things going on. But like I said before, I'm so grateful to have my internal physician and the confidence within to know I can treat all of those things through dry fasting. I will not be prisoner to any doctor or protocol to chase every single thing that I'm dealing with, and I can maintain for the rest of my life. And when I started this program, I started with the 21-day program and built up upon that. That was wonderful and such a great catalyst and cleansing method. And I built up to a 5-day dry fast. And I had some very profound experiences in this 5-day dry fast before coming here. And I explained it to my loved ones what a crazy experience it was. You kind of fight through some very, what I explained, like natural man feelings in opposition in the beginning. That's how most of my fasts start. There's a lot of opposition. And then I feel like I'm like elevated out of this world. There's no other words I have to explain it, that I feel like I'm lifted up and I'm almost hovering in this state of just enlightenment and insight and a perspective so much more beyond that than what I was capable of before. And it was so wonderful and so healing on every level and such breakthroughs. But I was so shocked to find that going up to that level was really hard. But then coming as I exited and came back to earth and back to my family and life and routine, that was surprisingly hard too. It was almost this whiplash of, I don't know where I belong. Do I belong up here or do I belong down here, which is my family and the reason, my babies, why I'm here, why I'm doing this, fighting to be healthy. And I feel like I have this extra power within because I want more babies, and that's motivating me to get healthy, fast, and thorough so that I can bring more babies to this earth. And I'm so grateful for that motivation and inspiration. But I have found myself with this fast, I've actually felt really, really good and feel like all the preparation is paying off, but knowing that those crises come and they go and there's ups and there's downs. And I think, if I'm being honest, I may be resisting a little bit that elevation, that pull up to a higher place through the fast that I know is there for me, that potential is there. I think I'm resisting it a little bit because I knew it was a little hard to come back down. But it's so beautiful up there. And so I want to lean more into my meditation and closing out distractions and being more intentional about each part of the fast. And it's been great today. All the treatments that we've received has just, they talk about the pain, and there's some pain, and I'm just so grateful for it because I feel so supported and feel like I have a team behind me, and I can feel it makes sense, just the science behind it, and the inside, I just feel like my sensitive spirit, it feels like it's working, and I know things are changing. And I'm just excited to lean further into the fast. Tomorrow being day 5, and beyond that will be uncharted territory for me. And I'm just really excited and motivated to keep going and seeing where this goes and see how long it takes for the back pain to work itself out. It's been about 12 hours now, and it's still there, but still grateful that my kidneys are working hard to heal. One side note for today also is that at the end of my 5-day fast, I started to feel this kidney pain. So I find it very interesting that on this next fast of mine, that it's kind of starting with that pain. So I feel like it's working through its process, and it'll move on to the next thing and the next thing. And so I'll be curious to know, as I continue my lifelong fasting efforts, that if it continues to kind of pick up where it left off. But that's my day 4. Today is day 3 of the retreat and day 5 of my dry fast. And it's been a really good day for me. And I'm so grateful because 5 days is the longest I have done dry fasting before. So hitting this spot and kind of hitting a similar feeling as my previous 5-day, where I feel very light and airy and kind of lifting out of this world feeling. And I'm just so happy. And the sun came out today, and I got to walk barefoot in the sand. And that grounding is just so healing for me. I got to paint on the beach, and I haven't had energy for things like that prior to today. So it felt really good to get some creativity and just that appreciation that comes when you break through certain layers of crisis and then get kind of that reward. I found time and time again that this pain for me has so much purpose. And so when I hit moments of pain, I really find it deep in my soul to have appreciation and gratitude, because I know that I will not know a higher level of joy without experiencing these deep layers of pain. And it's just so beautiful. And so every time I get the opportunity to just really sit in that, I know that nothing lasts forever. Even my moments where right now I feel so high and so purposeful and so grateful, I know it's not going to last forever, and that's okay. I'll hit new layers of low, but that'll just create space in my soul to go even higher. And so I'm actually really excited to see what day 6, 7, 8, 9, and beyond maybe, what that has in store, because I know they will just keep creating a bigger, more capable range of emotion and experience in my heart and soul. And I feel like whenever times get hard, I had a friend teach me this exercise and it's really helped me in the fast, where if I'm in a lot of physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, I kind of just lift outside of myself and observe myself if I can. Just practice pulling out and observing myself and saying, that's what it feels like to have a mortal experience. Look how mortal she is. She's in a lot of pain. She's in a lot of suffering. Interesting. What a mortal experience she's having. And that just really helps me sometimes endure the long, sometimes nights are really hard when you can't manage sleep. And I do that a lot, where I think, interesting, what an experience she's having. And just whatever I can do to get through the time. And it definitely helps me to just be very present in the moment. Sometimes I don't even like to think on what day I'm on, and just take one day at a time, one moment at a time. I really love the schedule here, because I know at this time we're doing this, at this time I'm going to do that, and I just get through each experience and moment, and it's been so pleasant, and time really is just working for my good, and I'm just really grateful right now. And it's just so informative and educational. What I thought was, potentially my kidneys giving me problem, I'm informed that it could be more so due to the fasting and losing of weight. And it's just so helpful to have such a team around me to support me in understanding what my body's doing, because without fail, each one of us is going to experience things that could be concerning and could definitely play into our emotional and mental strength to really endure the hard of a fast. And so just more knowledge is power, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to absorb and learn and gain so much further knowledge in how my body is handling and working, and just the reassurance the team gives me to say, that's okay, it's normal, your body's doing its job. And it just gives me so much more internal strength to have gratitude, because that pain has purpose, and I'm doing it. It's working. And furthermore, I'll just be more equipped for the rest of my life to apply what I'm learning and keep doing better each time. There's been many times I learn something and I'm like, oh, I didn't do that very well last time, but I'm going to do it better now, and I'm going to apply it even better in the future. And so it's just a continuous learning and growing and improving. And I feel like in a fast, you almost experience a whole lifetime. It's all condensed in these 9 days, where you almost experience just the whole stream of what you would in a lifetime. And it's just so valuable to me that you can learn such extreme lessons in such a short period of time, because of the way that we're using our agency, our choice. We're choosing to be here. We're choosing to forego food. We're choosing to forego water. And there's just so many rich rewards from that choice that it just expands the universe and the heavens, and it just opens. And I feel like there's just a downpouring of enlightenment and healing and so much more. And I can't wait to apply all of that, those lessons and emotions and practices to the rest of my life, to be, better for myself, better for my children, better for my husband, and all the relationships that I'm so grateful for. Like so many have said before, you have such a more profound appreciation for all the little things that we tend to take for granted in such a busy, nonstop, overwhelming pace of life. And this illness of neurological Lyme disease has forced me to slow way down the past 2 years especially. And for that I'm grateful, because I've already learned a lot of lessons to slow down and to really prioritize, like, what matters most, what is my why, what is my purpose in life. But this fasting experience takes that to a whole new level. And so even though I like to stay very grounded and present in the moment, I also enjoy letting my mind think, not so much in the detailed future, but more so in the purpose of, why am I here? What can I contribute to this world? These experiences that I'm so fortunate to learn through unfortunate events, but it's such a beautiful way to learn these very valuable eternal truths to me, and just to lean into that purpose of why, what is my why, and just learning to go through these next few days and just have an open heart and mind to all. I know there's so much more for me to learn, so trying to stay humble and grateful for me is the key. But for today, I'm very grateful for a sunny day, and I managed some sleep last night and just feeling really good, so I'll take it. Today is day 4 of the retreat and day 6 of my dry fast. I'm starting to have to really think about the numbers and remember what day. Not very much sleep last night for me, and a surprising earthquake here in Montenegro, so that was exciting. And so I've kind of found a pattern that I sleep one night, the next night I don't fall asleep, and then the next night I fall asleep. So I don't know, it's just part of the game. But even aside from the lack of sleep, I'm just so grateful, because I just got back from walking on the beach bare feet in the sunshine, and I just felt like I could fly. Like, I just feel lighter than air, and I am just so grateful. Day 6 is the longest I have fasted in my experience, and something I've wanted to mention, because I know all of you who are listening, like I was these past 6 months, felt like this was such a monumental build-up, like this big thing that I feel like I have to work so long to go get to, when in reality you can start right now. Start right now. I remember the second I learned about this dry fasting, I just did my own 36-hour dry fast. And I know other people's situations might be different, but what I'm saying is, start now. Schedule a consult with Doctor Filonov. Start the 21-day liver cleanse. Get as much practice and experience and build up, because every fast that I had, I remember in the 21-day cleanse, at the end of my 5-day water fast, my husband even asked me, he's like, you're different, you just feel lighter and brighter and happier. And I was like, I do. And it's amazing, because there's still lots of ups and downs, and I'm still experiencing those ups and downs. But then after my 3-day dry fast, a couple days later, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not having my fire brain. I don't know if any of you are familiar about fire brain, but that's part of my neurological Lyme disease, where for years, every night and day, my brain felt like it was on fire, like painful, irritating, and just a vibrating, just hot fire. And after my 3-day fast, I realized like it's gone, and I haven't had it since. And then after my 5-day fast, those 21 days of window of exit, I realized I'm sleeping on my own for the first time, and I can't remember. So it's just so beautiful and empowering to see. You have to really be intentional and intuitive and really think about what's going on and be connected with your body throughout it. But it happens. I'm shedding layers of symptoms where for years it was acquiring new ones. What's next week gonna bring? What's the next week gonna bring? And they just kept compiling, and I just felt like I was drowning because as hard as I tried, my diet, my lifestyle, it just wasn't enough. And so I'm so grateful to have been guided to dry fasting, and my spirit told me yes, and I didn't question it. And even when times get dark here, I lean on those, like remember those moments and hold on to them, because they're not constant. It's not this easy thing for anyone. But in the hard times, like hold on to those moments where you're like, I knew I was supposed to do this. And oh yeah, remember that time after my 3-day dry fast? It's working. Remember that 5-day? It's working. Here I am 6 days. It's working. I feel good. And that's something I typically do, is I feel good during a fast and then tend to struggle in my exit. And so I'm feeling mentally prepared for that and very excited I'm still trying to acquire all the information I can from Dr. Filonov, Svetlana, and the team to be more equipped and prepared and execute better than ever. I'm still trying to shed layers of doubt and fear. I think we all are. And so something that's been felt like a limitation is some genetic mutations that I know I have, and I don't want to feel limited by them. I want to know that, my body's working hard for me, that the fast can address all the things. So I'm excited to learn more and be more empowered. But I'm really grateful for how day 6 is going. The therapists keep asking me, do you like pain? And it makes me laugh because I had to think about it, and I'm like, well, I like pain if there's a purpose for it. If it's, feeding and fueling my healing, then yes, like I love pain. It reminds me of childbirth and delivering my babies. I was passionate about doing it unmedicated, and just that pain and working together with my baby, it was just, I wanted it because I knew it was productive, it was working for my good, and my baby's good. And I feel the same way in a fast, that this pain is beautiful, it's needed. Without the pain, I can't get to the joy and the high and the good parts of this healing process. You have to go through that sorrow to know that joy. So anyway, I'll keep this short, but I'm just really grateful, and day 6 has been such a pleasant surprise, and I'm happy to be here. Today is day 5 of the retreat and day 7 of my dry fast. And it's been so humbling today to think of 7 days, a week, and looking around me and looking into the eyes of every individual here. It's so humbling, and I love it. I can't always talk and hear every intimate detail of their story, but I can feel it. And I just feel so humbled and overwhelmed by just a power greater than myself. And it's my belief that I know that they're all children of God, and that love from Him through me to them just feels very powerful, and I'm very grateful to experience it in such a unique way, dry fasting for 7 days with other humans who have chosen to be here. I've thought a lot about that, just our choice, our agency, whatever you want to call it, to get to choose. Everybody here is choosing this and sacrificing a lot to be here. And I've thought a lot about, like, I believe that we're here on this earth to learn how to overcome the natural man, or whatever way you want to phrase it. And I feel like there is no other way greater in this world than to overcome the world or the natural man by foregoing, with your own agency, with your own choice, food and water, which gives you life, and just having that faith and belief and knowing it's going to be okay. And I just feel like this strength beyond my own, and I know who it is. I know that when things get hard, because there's lots of ups and downs for everybody, I sometimes tend to like to lean into the ups because it helps my mental state to stay strong and positive. But just in every thought, I direct it to Jesus Christ and know that He has overcome the world, and because He has, I can too. And I lean on that strength, and it helps get me through. And I'm so grateful for that knowledge and power. And it's pretty symbolic to me, like Easter's coming, and for me that's a very spiritual holiday, to know that He overcame death and He rose again. And I feel like all of us here are literally walking to the brinks of death sometimes, but with purpose and with power, and that we will overcome. We will rise again. We will have a renewal of life. And that's consumed my thoughts a lot lately on what am I going to do? What is my purpose with this renewal of life that I'm going to have? I feel so privileged and so grateful to have all the information, the support, and guidance to be here, to know that this is what I needed for healing. There's healing on every level. It's not just physical. It's so beyond it. And there's nothing that can replicate it. I've tried. I know everyone else here has tried. And this is it. And I'm so grateful. And I'm really leaning into that state of mind to think, what is my purpose? I want to give my life to God and understand, what can I do? What can I use my life for good? And still figuring that one out. But I got a couple more days in this and more fasting to keep working and trying and failing and doing better every day. They say that day 7 through 9, there's a lot of kind of turmoil between our angels and our demons. And I feel just a sense of comfort knowing my angels, my Savior, Jesus Christ, they've already won. So I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to be scared at that turmoil. And if I recognize it, it's just a very mortal experience. It's part of the process, but they've already been victorious, and I know I will be too. And it's just a special strength that I am supported by, and I'm excited for that battle. Here we go. Okay, today is day 6 of the retreat and day 8 of my dry fast. And I feel like I'm at the end of a race, and you're just putting in every ounce of energy you have left, almost sprinting towards that finish line. You can see it, it's so close, but yet still 2 days away. So I'm trying to stay focused and not daydream too much about the water and compote and all of the fun things ahead of us. But I feel really good. I feel just like really proud. Any chance I get to talk to my boys at home and just hear their little voices cheering their mom on, it just is so humbling, because I know it's not just my sacrifice here. It's a lot of physical sacrifice and mental strength, but it's just so much more. There's so many people, putting their faith and their sacrifice and everything that they have towards my healing. And I know everybody here has so many people in their corner cheering them on. I think that's what really makes all the difference, because it's so much more beyond my own strength. I'm inspired by other fasters here, because I too feel so many of my ancestors here with me and so connected with them. But even more so, I feel future posterity, and that's more motivating to me than anything I could tangibly grasp, is the thought and the hope for my future children. That's why I'm here in some discussion with the doctors today about exciting things, because that was just like a mystery in my mind for the past 2 years. I've just been so sick. It's like I didn't even have it was too hurtful, too painful. I didn't want to let my mind go there, because it felt so out of reach and out of a possibility, that I just want to be alive for my 2 boys that I have here and be the best that I can be. But now to experience true healing and feel it happening, there's evidence all over me. I have rashes down my arms. Since I got here, I've been hot. I put on a jacket for my interview because Svetlana said I was half naked, which sometimes I am, because it's just hot all the time. And I'm just grateful for it, because that just means it's working. I love the evidence. There's evidence all around me. There's evidence that God loves me and that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, which feels really good. And evidence that this is working, and evidence that I can shift and let my mind go to my future life, this renewal of life that this is giving me. And that feels amazing, that I can actually channel that. It doesn't hurt anymore. It doesn't cause heartache and pain because it's unattainable. It's more than there in my reach, and sooner than I ever hoped. So I'm just more than ever motivated to just keep going, get the most I possibly can out of this experience, go home, do it all over again, and just continue to live life to the fullest, and take everything that I've learned and continue to learn to just enjoy my life. And I know it's possible for all of us here. So very excited for day 8 and ready for tomorrow. Today is day 7 of the retreat and day 9 of my dry fast, which was my goal. And I feel like I was just so excited. I woke up and went and watched the sunrise, and it was just euphoric. There's no other word. I obviously don't understand all that Doctor Filonov says, but he had made a comment about me and my friend, like a thinness, and I feel like to me it meant, in my words, just like very close to heaven, like close to the veil. And I feel that. I feel such a connection to heaven through this process. And I particularly love fasting on Sundays. So I was really excited when my last day landed on a Sunday, because it just, for some reason, gives me an extra oomph that I need. And it just feels so whole. And I'm just incredibly proud of how it went. There's the ups and downs. Really grateful for the manifestations of cleansing, rashes, heat. I've definitely been having to scrape my tongue several times a day, and just interesting mucus. This morning on my walk, I had all this fogginess in both ears. I stopped hearing, and it was just crazy, because I was like, every little thing like that, I'm like, yes, like it's working, it's doing something. It's ironic, because when I was a kid, I had lots of ear infections, and since I can remember, I just have like this thumping in my right ear, and it's just something you kind of live with. You deal with it. It comes and goes, but when I sleep, all of a sudden this thumping. And so when I feel so much happening and shifting inside of me, it's exciting. It's like, why do we accept and just kind of take what we get in life, thinking this is as good as I got, this is it. It's like, no, it's not. Like, there's more. You can be so much more. You can become more. And this has just been the most beautiful process to feel that sincere empowerment and knowing, like, I can do this. Anyone can do this. One of my favorite authors, her name is Edith Egar. She's a survivor of Auschwitz, and she's so amazing. She has a couple books, but I love how she explains the difference between I'm going to forget the words, a victim and a survivor. A victim will typically say, why me? Why? Like, how unfortunate me. And a survivor says, okay, what am I going to do now? And that's what I just love, and that's what I feel. It's like, what am I going to do now? And I'm just sitting in that today. What am I going to do now? People talk about ideas and creativity and all this energy focused towards your future, and I just totally agree. I love it. I'm thinking about the quails I'm going to raise and eat their eggs, and my garden I want to grow, and just knowing my food and having that empowerment and connection with my life and for my family and my future family. And it's just so exciting, and something a little vulnerable coming here. It's been the greatest blessing, but in the beginning it was really hard. My cute parents, my mom and dad, are on an LDS mission 3 hours from here for their church, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I hadn't seen them in 14 months, and it was another manifestation to me that my treatment in the whole world is right here 3 hours from my parents. Like, that blew my mind, and it made me feel confident. But I was also nervous because in this past couple years in my healing, there's been some really big foundational cracks in my understanding, in my misunderstood pain and relationship, and particularly with my parents. And, we all have it as children, just some grief and pain from some abuse received from a man who's still in prison. But it was very confusing and misunderstood between me and my parents, who are so good. But for 30 years, there's been this misunderstanding because of that childhood trauma. And so when I, 2 years ago, was gutting my soul, trying to realize, I will do anything to heal what is required of me. And speaking to my God, He showed me line upon line what I have to do to cleanse my soul, the darkest corners of my soul to heal. And it was one of this trauma as a child, a big part of getting me to where I am here today that I didn't even know about. I would have never connected those dots. But it's when you're so intentional and you leave behind that victimhood of why me, and you think, what now? And I kept asking, what now? And I was given it. And once I was strong enough, what now? And it was just building blocks. You can't do it overnight. You can't do it all at once. But you have to keep asking, keep showing up for yourself. Even when you fall, you get back up. They're not all good days. It's not all easy. It's not all progress. But you just say, what am I going to do now? And so facing my parents was a little scary for me. I missed them, obviously, when I was as sick as I was the last couple of years. Sometimes you just want your mom and dad, but they're across the world. So it's just kind of this interesting thing. And then coming to see them, and then they've shown up in a way for me that I didn't expect. And just to have them be close by, I'm like that little girl again, kind of repairing really deep wounds from feelings of unworthiness of their time, their resources, their energy, their love. Because as a 5-year-old kid, you don't understand some big kid things and certain innocence that was lost. So it's been so beautiful and unique to have them be a part of this where I just feel like, is there too much healing going on? Is it too much? Can I handle this much healing? But it's just, I just feel like that little girl for a couple hours a day when I get to go on my evening walks with them. And I'm just so grateful, and I'm so proud of them, because I know, the past couple of years and having hard discussions about these things and being a parent myself now, to see them and realize that kind of hurt and pain that they must have experienced as a parent, it's just been beautiful. So that's a little bit of my vulnerability, and a part of this experience, I didn't even know they were going to be close by. But I'm so grateful. Normally I like to say, I got this, I'm going to do it on my own. I've been doing that my whole life, and it's part of the lesson to let go and to allow love, allow yourself to be loved as you love yourself sincerely, and then you can better love others, and just all that healing and light, it changes you. So I'm so ready for exit tomorrow, but going strong. Okay, today is day 8 of the retreat and day 1 of my exit, and I feel really good. It was such a profound experience last night. I got about an hour of sleep early on, and it wasn't so much anxiousness or nervousness or any emotion like that. It was just a complete peace and calm, knowing, like, every part of my body, that this was the right time. I came and did everything I wanted to do. It's kind of to get through those 9 days. And maybe it's my personality. There's a little bit of a fighter to kind of get through, and but just a complete surrendering to the process was really beautiful. And I laid under the stars and was enjoying the time I had left, feeling really warm and hot. So I got to lay under the stars all night and just feel the cool ocean breeze. And it was so euphoric, just kind of patiently watching the time, knowing I had a ritual I wanted to do for my exit that just fuels me and lifted me. I shared yesterday a little bit about the unique experience with my parents here, and it was so profound. I got an opportunity to have a conversation with them on the last day of my 9-day fast. And it was really beautiful, because I definitely protect myself a lot from letting people into my emotions and experiences. I kind of just keep them to myself. And it was just such a memorable experience to let them in, and they could share their feelings and their experiences and healing and having cared for me, their baby, their child, through this week in different ways. And it was very uplifting to me to feel the rich rewards of allowing people in to that space, and just that interchange of emotions and feelings and rawness, and how it can just be so much more than when you don't allow people in. And I'm so looking forward to the rest of my life and nurturing that role inside of me as daughter, because that's kind of been limited, I guess, in a way personally. And it's gonna just flow into all my other relationships as a mother, and it's just so exciting. There's just so many layers to all of this experience, and I just couldn't be more grateful. You can tell there's a very different feeling today, and it's addicting. It's amazing. It feels so good. Just the calm and peace and sleepiness. I love the feeling of feeling sleepy and like I could continue resting and just relaxing. I've gotten a few hours of sleep today, and that's been amazing. And I just can't even begin to express the taste of that first sip of water at 5 a.m. this morning. I was convinced that they had put something else in the water. I'm sure many can relate. It tasted like honey water, the best water I've ever had. And it's just all these heightened emotions and experience, and many say gratitude, just that appreciation. I'm just trying to really record everything on my heart because I never want to forget it, because it's super easy to go back into the world and have that whiplash of chaos and to-do lists and things, and I just want to carry it with me and have that appreciation and profound love and gratitude for all the beautiful creations and things that we have for our health and our wellness and our joy and our happiness throughout life. So I'm going to try to hold on to that and remember this feeling because it is really good. Okay, today is day 9 of the retreat and day 2 of my exit. And I am just still so in awe of how peaceful I feel, and just, I don't know, there's no greater feeling than just feeling you're right where you're supposed to be. I don't want to be where I was yesterday. I don't want to fast forward to tomorrow. It's just complete contentment, and I've never been able to accomplish that kind of presence in the moment, and it feels really good. I know there's a lot of information to absorb, and that's why I'm here. I hang on every word of the doctor and Sveta and the team because I just want to absorb all the information I can to continue this practice and to carry it home with me and just weave it into my soul, because I just want to become this lifestyle that is going to bless me and my family and whoever I can share with forever. And so again, I just am still riding such a wave of gratitude, and I hope it never goes away. I think it's definitely a choice each day to choose to see it, to look for it, to feel it. Still, I thought the taste and goodness of my water or the compote would dissipate by now, but still every sip it's like, it's so good. And I'm just so grateful for it, and just the kindness and generosity and love surrounding me from everyone, really. It's just, I feel so cared for and grateful, and it's just a really good feeling. I think there's a lot of thought and planning and what's next, which I'm trying to find the balance as I learn to trust my body and my intuition and the counsel from the doctor. And it's a lot to take in, but I feel like it's such great practice because, you know, I'm just trying to soak in the moments that I have here, because I have a long time to practice and to trial and error and apply all the things that I'm doing here. And I just can't express my appreciation enough for the help I'm having in every detail of my exit, because that has been a struggle of mine in my preparation. And so even though sometimes there's feelings of like not wanting to eat, and they just explain so much of the process and finding that balance to rebuild my strength so I can make it home to my family, or when to start applying the leeches and my body is ready, and the science behind it and the benefits of it. I truly have no fear, and a great feeling. Just that confidence is so strong. And I just really want to record and remember and rely on that confidence to carry with me when I'm not surrounded by the team. And I do intend to go home and perform another 9-day fast within the next month. And sometimes that feels a little daunting, but other times exciting, and just focusing on one day at a time, trying not to get too far ahead of myself. But today, on my day 2 of exit, I could not be more thrilled, and the deep sleep is so lovely. And I plan to go sleep some more after this and just enjoy exactly where I'm at right now. Today is day 9 of the retreat and day 3 of my exit. And I feel like I've come down from the clouds a little bit and starting to feel some things going through my body, some sensations, symptoms that are all part of the process. And it's very reassuring to be here with professionals who can explain everything, walk me through it, answer my questions, because I have lots of them. And it feels really good. Even though it felt so good to be kind of in that woozy state, it feels even better to feel my body kind of coming back and connecting and working through certain things. I didn't sleep great last night, and a little bit of dizziness today, and some tingling and numbness in my arms and legs. But that's what's so valuable, having treatment and therapists to work on me, assess me, let me know if I'm ready. I really am excited to do leeches, but being able to evaluate and walk me through what's good for me, what I should wait on, even down to the meals and the food. It's just been so educational and helpful for my exit, and I feel more confident than ever to properly exit and help my body, because I do believe everybody is so different. It is not always one size fits all. But we really do get the tools here to know how to apply it to our individual lives. And I'm really excited to keep learning and hopefully get to do leeches tomorrow. A little bit about my traveling here. I arrived at the hotel here in Montenegro on the first day of the retreat, and I decided to fast while I was traveling. So when I started the retreat, I was on day 3 of my fast, and I'm really glad I did it that way. Traveling wasn't too scary while fasting. I had already done some of the prep, so if you're coming, hopefully you've done some preparation and you know yourself and you can feel competent and capable of traveling, or have someone assist you. But I chose to do it alone and made it here just fine. Travel went fine, and I was really glad to be on pace with the majority of the group. I feel like that was powerful, to be kind of counting along in about the same fast days. And I'm really grateful I have this much time to exit with the cares of the doctors and therapists, and just their encouragement to build up strength and kind of just find that confidence is the biggest thing I could say that I'm gaining right now in this exit. And I plan to travel home. The retreat ends on Friday, and I travel home Sunday, and so that would be like day 6 of my exit, I believe, about that. And I feel very confident in being able to travel home on that day as well. So I wanted to get back home to my young family as fast as I could, and I feel like it was totally doable, and I felt strong and capable and safe in that time frame. So if anyone is considering what to do, I definitely encourage that you'll be fine and strong enough to recover, and they will help along that recovery process, whatever you need. So all in all, I'm very happy and grateful and satisfied with how my exit is going, and look forward with optimism to continue to heal through all the phases.